So we're coming to a very interesting stage as we come out of COVID, because as one of the managing partners we're working with at the moment told us, confidentially, we were so busy during COVID that when the train stopped at the station, the doors opened and we took anyone that was standing on the platform and brought them into partnership. Now, with uncertainty about what happens next, we're wondering, do we have the right people with the right skills required? And when we interview those young partners, again, confidentially, their question is in terms of the client development is, do we all have to do this? Can we not rely on those that are rainmakers to do this? Or can we not require BD specialists to come in and bring in clients from us? So when we all started doing this 30 years ago, we had the expression minders, finders and grinders. Are we saying we look to certain people and say you're responsible for bringing in work, or this is a joint responsibility amongst our partners, which is currently misfiring in a number of the law firms we're advising?
Personally, I don't think the minders, finders and grinders thing works when you're selling a service, because you want to look in the eye of the person who's going to be delivering it to you and say, right, Moray, what are you going to do? And you've got to do what you do within the wrapper of the firm, but you've got to do it your way, because it's the same as having friends. You talk to them in a way you want to talk to them. You buy from people you like. And this is you are only going to buy from the person who is going to deliver it, which is why the thing that clients complain more about than anything is when they meet a load of people in a pitch and they say, oh, I never met them again, because they got the people who are good at pitching in to do the pitch, and it doesn't work. So what they actually get when they're delivering is people with a completely different personality who deliver legal work in a different way. So every partner has to be able to talk to their clients, sell to their clients, in a way that suits them. So they have to develop their own style in a way that suits the people who they work with, because they will find people who work in the same way as them and they will be their clients.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, and quite often clients tell us, but, we need to accept the differences amongst partners and the strengths and weaknesses. But in a way, it's like to make a law firm sustainable, they all need to have the basic foundation to be able to develop the business. And the business includes everything, but I agree with Katie, so you need to be authentic. I mean, we cannot make people, I think there was an expression that you cannot make a fish climb a tree. So, but you need to make sure that you give them the tools required to reach whatever fruit is at the tree if required.
Yeah, you need to give them the climbing gear. They've got to have crampons. You give your fish crampons and then it might work.
So in a way, it's almost like crucial to think what support you might need around a partner to allow them to do the best job they can. Yeah. And they will have clients that connect perfectly with their own personalities. So there is not rights or wrongs, but there is foundation that each partner needs to take.
Now there's more choice. They've got other firms they could go to. They've got other ways that they want their legal services delivered. So you've got to be able to, as a young partner, you've got to be able to sell the whole firm, but you've got to have backup. They don't have that safety blanket that they feel they can go back to their desk at the firm or go back to their laptop at home and say, hang on a minute, what have we done in employment tribunals and what have we done in M&A, and get a broad overview of the stuff that the firm has done so they understand how to sell, so they feel they're on safe ground, because it's a very unsafe place to be talking to a client and selling. It's really difficult.
I mean, and I think that the key is not to wait till they're partners, so it's like start early and just, I think we work a lot on the career development of lawyers, and I think they need to understand what it means to be a partner so that they build up like we all do in any other profession. And as they build up, to do also a self-assessment as soon as possible, and that the law firm is honest about the assessment and the chances to actually get to partner in order to contribute, as they want every partner to contribute.
It's got to be about giving them structures in which they can work and giving them that safe place to practice as well, because being in the firm is a safe place to practice, and people need to practice this. At its most basic, if you're going to a pitch and you're presenting and you haven't had a rehearsal, then don't get in the cab and go. You know, you need to rehearse before you do these sorts of things, and they need to be rehearsing for meetings, just giving them the safety blanket. But more than that, the firm has got to give them the tools so they can look up what the firm has done, so they can understand where they sit, so they have got formats that they can fill out that will help them plan. So what might a client be thinking about? Well, here's some ideas that we've taken from previous relationships. Oh, I can have a think about that. I can research this. Why don't you go out and look at their annual report, look at where they've been in the news, you know, giving them briefing packs around these sorts of things. So there's all sorts of tools that can be provided that help them get off that first rung of the ladder. And that's where a really good business development team can help. But it's not the BD's team responsibility to spot where this is needed. It is the partner or the lawyer's responsibility to put their hand up in a self-assessment type way and say, I don't know enough, I need to know more. How can people within the firm help me to know more? And a bit of modesty about how much you know is always important.
It is also about being generous. So if partners could be more mentors, and those that are comfortable with clients be able to observe around and say, this question that you did, maybe you could do it differently next time, or did you realize the response of that client when you met? So there is aspects that are human. So there is questions that, we could have law firms where process is fantastic and they're able to have checklists and tick boxes, but at least they have to have the human support so that whether young or old, everyone gets a good, honest feedback. And of course, if you can ask clients, even better. So that
it's exactly about that. It's exactly about having better conversations. But that seems to cause problems. There's a reluctance, and maybe it's particularly post-COVID where everybody was not able to go out and have a coffee or things with people. There's a reluctance to just go out and have a chat. And the problem is they keep thinking they need to say something, and actually all they need to do is ask a question. And it's not, when you go to a meeting with a client, it is absolutely not about having anything to say. It's about asking sensible questions. And that's the best advice I think that you can give to any young lawyer, is just understand how to ask questions.
There is a learning about put yourself in the shoes of your client. So don't go there trying to get something for yourself. So when you meet a client, it's like, just think about what is their needs and what their issues are. And maybe the solution is not just right there. Simply connect. And the concept of connecting with people, again, there is some people that are more natural and there is people that require some help. And the luxury of being in a law firm is that it's a professional environment that, again, they give you the support that you might need in order to start a stage ahead to what you might start in other places. And I think, yes, it's simple, but now you have the opportunity to get data, information, background. So don't underestimate the opportunity of getting intelligence that will help you to offer the connection that the client might value.
There's a complete transparency has got to exist within the firm around the type of clients that they want, and that will vary depending on each client. You've got to tell your people, you've got to tell the world the clients you want, because the clients also needs to know that they're wanted, and so make sure that people act on the strategy and are doing the right things. Hold them accountable, judge them on doing the right things. Don't just say, it's Mary Cruz, we'll let her off. We know she doesn't really like doing this stuff, but she's really good at this. No, she's part of the firm. She's got to do it the way that the firm wants it done. So communication, internal communication, key. external communication key, and then encourage people to get out of the office, get on the phone, get on Teams, Zoom, whatever you want to use, to just talk to people. So stop telling them they've got to bill so many hours. Make sure that the hours they bill are quality and that they actually bill all the hours they do work, because that's the other problem, is that people aren't billing all the hours they are actually working because they think clients want things cheaper. Let's leave that problem to another day. But they've got to be rewarded for what they do with clients, and it's got to be important, and it's not important enough.
Watch the full conversation in detail at Lexington Consultants website and follow us for more insights.